Imagine you're told to just follow your passion, a simple idea, right? But what if I told you that this advice, the very thing that's supposed to guide you to happiness and success, could actually lead you down a dark and confusing path? That's exactly what rule number 1 of So Good They Can't Ignore You warns us about. Don't follow your passion. It's not just bad advice, it's dangerous advice. It sets you up for a lifetime of disappointment, frustration, and self-doubt. Let's dive into the story of Steve Jobs, a man many believe to be the epitome of passion leading to success. But, surprise! That's not how it happened for him. Steve Jobs didn't start off obsessed with technology or dreaming about revolutionizing the world with sleek gadgets. In fact, when he was younger, he dabbled in all sorts of things, from Eastern spirituality to random college classes. His journey wasn't driven by some burning passion for computers, but by opportunities that unfolded before him, which he skillfully navigated. The idea that Jobs followed a passion from the start. It's simply not true. And yet, so many of us cling to the passion hypothesis. It's the belief that in order to find happiness and fulfillment in your career, you must first discover what you're passionate about, and then build your job around that. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But here's the heartbreaking truth, the evidence doesn't support it. Most of us don't have some magical passion waiting inside, just waiting to be uncovered like buried treasure. Instead, when we chase after this elusive passion, we often find ourselves lost and confused. You've been there, haven't you? Wondering why you haven't yet figured out that one thing you're supposed to be passionate about. Feeling like you're missing out on some secret everyone else seems to know. It leaves you feeling like you're spinning in circles, chasing a dream that's always just out of reach. And worse, when reality hits, when following your so-called passion doesn't lead to instant success or happiness, it can be crushing. The disappointment is overwhelming, the confusion paralyzing. So what are we left with? Instead of passion, we need craftsmanship. The pursuit of skill, the mastery of something that brings real value into the world, that's the true path to fulfillment. It's not about waiting for passion to strike like lightning. It's about rolling up your sleeves and dedicating yourself to becoming so good they can't ignore you. Chapter 2 of So Good They Can't Ignore You shakes us to our core with an undeniable truth: passion is rare. We've been sold the dream that all we need to do is discover our passion, and everything else will magically fall into place. But the reality? It's not that simple. The more you dig, the more you realize just how rare this passion-based career success truly is. Think about the successful people you admire. Did they all wake up one day, passion in hand, ready to conquer the world? Hardly. The careers that captivate us, the ones we dream of, often have much more complex and messy origins. They're not the result of some neatly packaged passion waiting to be unwrapped. Instead, these careers were built brick by brick, often starting in unexpected places, with challenges and detours along the way. This idea that all you need to do is follow your passion is overly simplistic. It's a fairy tale, and like most fairy tales, it doesn't hold up in the real world. Cal Newport, the author, doesn't just stop there. He backs up this bold claim with 3 scientific conclusions that shed light on why some people find satisfaction in their work, while others continue to feel stuck in dissatisfaction. 1. Rare pre-existing passions. The first major finding is that pre-existing passions, those things people claim to have, always known they were meant to do, are incredibly uncommon. Sure, some people may discover a calling early on, but for the vast majority, this simply isn't the case. Most people don't have a burning passion hidden deep inside, just waiting to be discovered. Searching for one can lead you down an endless road of confusion and frustration. The reality is that passion, if it ever shows up, usually comes after you've spent time mastering a skill, not before. 2. The complex origins of compelling careers. When you look at the careers that genuinely inspire, you'll notice that they don't follow a straight line. These compelling careers reject the simplistic idea that passion leads the way. They're the result of years of hard work, dedication, and a series of unpredictable opportunities. Instead of starting with passion, they often begin with curiosity, practicality, or simply a need to survive, and evolve into something meaningful over time. 3. Mastery leads to satisfaction. The third scientific conclusion Newport draws is the most important. Career satisfaction doesn't come from chasing passion. It comes from mastery. When you become exceptionally skilled at something, you start to love it. Why? Because mastery brings autonomy, respect, and confidence, 3 pillars of career satisfaction. It's not about passion guiding your path, but about passion growing from your dedication to becoming great at what you do. So, what's the takeaway here? If you're still waiting for that lightning bolt of passion to strike, you could be waiting a long time. Instead of chasing passion, focus on building your skills, honing your craft, and becoming invaluable. Passion, when it does show up, is often the result of mastery, not the starting point. Self-determination theory, SDT, as explored in So Good They Can't Ignore You, takes us beyond the shallow advice of follow your passion, and reveals a deeper understanding of what really motivates us in the workplace and in life. This theory emphasizes that true, lasting motivation doesn't come from chasing some hidden passion but rather from satisfying 3 essential psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Each of these elements contributes to a sense of fulfillment that drives us forward, especially when it comes to finding satisfaction in our careers. 1. Autonomy, the power of control. Autonomy is a powerful need. It's the sense that you have control over your life, your decisions, and most importantly, your work. Imagine a day where you're not just being told what to do, but you have the freedom to make decisions, take initiative, and shape your day as you see fit. This is autonomy in action. It's about more than just following orders, it's about steering the ship. When you feel autonomous, your tasks feel more meaningful because they're infused with your direction and input. Think about how demotivating it is when you feel like a puppet, merely completing tasks without any real say in how things are done. It's soul-crushing. But when you have autonomy, the same tasks can feel completely different. You're no longer a bystander, you're the driver, and that control breathes life into your work. The beauty of autonomy is that as you gain experience and trust in your role, you'll often be given more control over your responsibilities, creating a positive cycle where the more you prove yourself, the more freedom you receive. 2. Competence, the satisfaction of mastery. Competence is that incredible feeling you get when you're really good at something. It's not about arrogance or showing off, it's about that quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're skilled, capable, and effective. There's nothing quite like the satisfaction of completing a task and doing it well. When you're good at what you do, everything changes. Your self-esteem skyrockets, and your work doesn't feel like a grind, it feels rewarding. The need for competence is deeply ingrained in us. When you become a master at your craft, whether it's fixing cars, writing code, managing people, or designing products, it fuels a sense of accomplishment that keeps you motivated. Mastery doesn't happen overnight, but as you invest time and effort into honing your skills, you start to see the payoff. People begin to respect your work, and opportunities arise because of your expertise. Competence isn't just a skill, it's a powerful motivator that pushes you to continue growing and improving. 3. Relatedness, the importance of connection. We're social beings. No matter how independent we like to think we are, deep down, we all crave connection and a sense of belonging. In the context of work, this is called relatedness, feeling connected to the people around you. It's not just about being friendly with your coworkers, it's about feeling like you're part of something larger than yourself. Whether it's working on a collaborative project, mentoring a colleague, or knowing that your work contributes to a bigger goal, these connections give your work meaning. When you feel isolated or disconnected in your job, it's easy to lose motivation. But when you're part of a supportive team or when your work has a positive impact on others, it energizes you. The feeling of relatedness is what keeps you going through tough times because you're not just working for a paycheck, you're working for a purpose. Having strong relationships in your workplace provides emotional support, inspiration, and a sense of shared achievement. The path to career success, how these needs work together. When all 3 of these needs, autonomy, competence, and relatedness, are met, something incredible happens. You become fully engaged and motivated in your work. But here's the kicker, passion grows out of this motivation, not the other way around. As you get better at what you do, competence, you feel more confident and capable. With this competence, you'll often gain more control over your tasks, autonomy, as people trust you to handle more responsibilities. As you continue to grow, you build stronger relationships with your colleagues, clients, or even the broader community. Relatedness. These connections not only make work more enjoyable, but they also remind you that what you do matters. This is where true satisfaction begins to take root. It's not that you start with a burning passion for your job, but rather, as you improve and develop mastery, passion becomes a natural side effect of feeling empowered, skilled, and connected. Think of it as a chain reaction. As you develop competence in your work, you gain autonomy, which enhances your sense of relatedness, creating a cycle of increasing motivation and satisfaction. This is the foundation for long-term career success. It's not about passion leading the way, but about mastering your craft, gaining control, and building connections that matter. So, when you find yourself wondering, why don't I feel passionate about my work, the answer might be simpler than you think. Passion, according to self-determination theory, isn't something you need to discover, it's something you build. As you focus on getting better at what you do, the passion will follow. You'll feel more in control, more connected, and, ultimately, more fulfilled. Passion is not the cause, but the result of putting in the effort to master your work. Oh good, they can't ignore you delivers a jarring yet crucial wake-up call. Passion is dangerous. The author, Cal Newport, doesn't mince words here. He argues that the so-called passion hypothesis isn't just wrong, it's harmful. The belief that all you need to do is follow your passion to find career happiness has led countless people down a frustrating, confusing path, and the statistics don't lie. From 1987 to 2010, job satisfaction in the U.S. took a disturbing nosedive. In 1987, a healthy 61% of people reported being satisfied with their jobs. Fast forward to 2010, and that number dropped to 45%, a significant decrease that signals a growing unhappiness in the workforce. But that's not even the most alarming part. Among young people, those just entering the workforce with fresh hopes and dreams, the dissatisfaction rate has skyrocketed. 64% of young people are now unsatisfied with their work, the highest percentage ever recorded. It's shocking, but it paints a clear picture. The passion hypothesis is failing us. The passion hypothesis is not just wrong, it's dangerous. This idea that following your passion will automatically lead to career fulfillment sounds so optimistic, so positive. But as Newport highlights, it's dangerous optimism. Why? Because it sets people up for disappointment. When you believe that all it takes to be happy is to discover your passion and turn it into a career, you expect instant satisfaction. And when that doesn't happen, when the reality of work doesn't match the fantasy, you're left feeling lost and disillusioned. Imagine the pressure that comes with this mindset. You're constantly searching for the perfect job, the one that aligns with your passion. But what happens when you don't find it? Or worse, what happens when the passion you thought you had fades once you're faced with the day-to-day grind? You're left questioning everything. What's wrong with me? Why am I not happy? Did I choose the wrong career? These are the very questions that lead to career confusion, frustration, and even burnout. Newport argues that the passion hypothesis doesn't just create unrealistic expectations, it can breed angst. People who believe in this idea might hop from job to job, hoping to find that elusive passion-driven career, only to end up feeling more lost than ever. The more they chase passion, the more confused they become. It's a vicious cycle. What should you do instead? If follow your passion is not just bad advice, but actively harmful, what's the alternative? Newport suggests that rather than waiting for passion to guide you, you need to focus on something more grounded and reliable. The book lays out 3 key rules that provide the answer to the burning question, what should you do instead? These rules point to the idea that success and satisfaction in your career don't come from passion, but from craftsmanship, mastery, and deliberate practice. It's through developing valuable skills, becoming great at what you do, and gaining autonomy and control over your work that real career happiness is built, not by chasing some abstract notion of passion. Instead of letting passion lead the way, Newport urges readers to cultivate rare and valuable skills. When you become so good at what you do that people can't ignore you, you'll gain more control over your work, more career capital, and ultimately, more satisfaction. Passion, as he puts it, is a byproduct of mastery, not the starting point. This chapter challenges everything we've been taught about work and passion, urging us to shift our focus away from the dangerous, misleading idea of chasing passion and towards something far more sustainable, building skills, taking control of your career, and allowing passion to grow naturally as a result of your efforts. The clarity of the craftsman of so good they can't ignore you. Cal Newport makes a bold statement: skills trump passion. This chapter is where Newport begins to dismantle the romanticized notion that passion is all you need to succeed, arguing instead for the craftsman mindset, an approach that prioritizes honing your craft, developing rare and valuable skills, and letting mastery guide your path to career fulfillment. The two competing mindsets. In life and work, Newport identifies two vastly different mindsets that people use to approach their careers: the craftsman mindset and the passion mindset. These two outlooks shape how we perceive work, success, and even our own happiness. 1. The craftsman mindset. The craftsman mindset is the heart of Newport's philosophy. It's all about focusing on the value of what you're offering to the world. In simple terms, this mindset is about becoming so exceptionally skilled in your craft that people have no choice but to notice you. Newport refers to a famous quote by comedian Steve Martin, who was asked how to succeed in a competitive field like comedy. His advice was simple yet profound: be so good they can't ignore you. Martin didn't mention passion, love for the craft, or discovering some hidden talent. Instead, his advice highlights relentless focus, dedication, and constant improvement. The craftsman mindset urges you to stop worrying about whether your job is perfectly aligned with your passion and start focusing on mastering your skills. When you dedicate yourself to becoming truly exceptional, opportunity naturally follows. This mindset is not about what your job can give you, it's about what you can give to your job. Newport argues that this approach is crucial for building a career you love. The more you focus on improving and producing results, the more control you'll gain over your work, and with that control comes satisfaction. Mastery breeds autonomy, and autonomy brings a deeper sense of fulfillment. 2. The passion mindset. On the opposite end of the spectrum lies the passion mindset. This is the mindset that most people adopt. It's the belief that you should focus on what your work can do for you, whether it brings you joy, excitement, and fulfillment. It's the idea that your job should cater to your pre-existing passions, and if it doesn't, something is wrong. While this may sound reasonable at first, Newport explains how the passion mindset is a recipe for sadness and confusion. Here's why. It makes you hyper-aware of what you dislike about your job. When you approach your work from the perspective of, is this making me happy, you're constantly searching for flaws. Instead of focusing on improvement, you're fixated on what the job is failing to provide you. It leads to existential questions that are impossible to answer. The passion mindset often causes people to ask themselves difficult, sometimes paralyzing questions. Who am I? What do I love? Is this really my passion? These deep, introspective questions don't always have clear or easy answers. The result is often confusion and frustration when you don't feel a strong connection to your work. Newport argues that the passion mindset is inherently flawed because it shifts the focus away from where it should be, on getting better at what you do. Instead, it emphasizes something intangible and subjective, passion, which can lead to constant dissatisfaction. Why the craftsman mindset works. Newport urges readers to abandon the passion mindset and adopt the craftsman mindset. No matter how you feel about your job right now, shifting your focus to mastering your craft is the foundation on which you'll build a compelling and satisfying career. Here's why the craftsman mindset is so effective. It puts you in control. By focusing on your skills, you're taking ownership of your career. You're no longer at the mercy of vague notions like passion or interest. Instead, you're in the driver's seat, constantly improving and expanding your abilities, which, in turn, leads to greater opportunities and career satisfaction. It's concrete. Unlike passion, which can feel abstract and fleeting, the craftsman mindset is grounded in something tangible, your skills. You can measure progress, set goals, and see the direct impact of your hard work. This gives you a clear path forward. It leads to mastery and autonomy. As you become better at what you do, you'll gain more control over your responsibilities. You'll be trusted with more significant projects, given more freedom, and have the ability to shape your career. This autonomy is one of the key ingredients for long-term job satisfaction. It grows passion naturally. Paradoxically, by not focusing on passion, you may discover it. As you become more skilled and gain mastery over your work, your enjoyment and fulfillment will increase. Passion, in Newport's view, is a side effect of becoming excellent at what you do. It's not the starting point but the result of dedication and hard work. The danger of overthinking your passion. The passion mindset also leads to a kind of paralysis. People can spend years agonizing over finding their true passion, constantly questioning if they're on the right path. This mindset creates a fear of commitment, because if you don't feel that instant passion for your work, you might think it's a sign you're doing the wrong thing. But Newport flips the script here. He argues that if you stop obsessing over passion and start putting in the work, you might find that passion emerges naturally over time. Conclusion: focus on becoming so good they can't ignore you. In the end, Newport's message in Chapter 4 is clear: stop focusing on whether your job is your passion and start focusing on being the best at what you do. By adopting the Craftsman mindset, you'll cultivate the skills that make you valuable, gain control over your career, and discover the satisfaction that comes from mastery. Passion isn't something you find, it's something you earn by becoming so good that people can't help but notice. The power of career capital from so good they can't ignore you. Cal Newport presents a powerful argument about what truly makes a job great. According to Newport, it's not about blindly following your passion, but about accumulating what he calls career capital, the rare and valuable skills that set you apart in your field. These skills, once mastered, are what allow you to acquire the traits that make a job fulfilling, such as creativity, impact, and control. The traits of a great job: creativity, impact, and control. Newport identifies 3 key characteristics that define great jobs: creativity, impact, and control. But here's the catch: these traits are rare and valuable. They aren't handed out freely to anyone who merely desires them. If you want a job that gives you the freedom to be creative, make an impact, and control your own work, you need something to offer in return. That's where career capital comes in. What is career capital? Career capital is essentially the currency of success in the working world. It's the collection of rare and valuable skills that you've cultivated through years of deliberate practice and dedication. These skills are your bargaining chips. The more capital you have, the more leverage you possess to negotiate the kind of work you want. Newport's central argument here is what he calls the career capital theory of great work. This theory posits that the key to finding work you love isn't about pursuing a passion from the outset. Instead, it's about getting really good at something rare and valuable, and then using that career capital to cash in on the traits that make jobs great, like creativity and control. In other words, rather than passion leading to success, it's mastery that leads to passion and satisfaction in your career. The Craftsman Mindset versus the Passion Mindset. To accumulate career capital, Newport encourages adopting the Craftsman Mindset. This is an approach where you focus on becoming so good at what you do that others can't help but take notice. It's about honing your craft, developing specialized skills, and always striving to improve. The specific goal of this mindset is to accumulate the kind of capital that allows you to build a compelling career. In contrast, the passion mindset, the idea that you should focus on what your job can give you, is ineffective. It leads to confusion and frustration because it makes you focus on what you're not getting from your job, instead of what you can contribute. Newport argues that if you focus solely on what excites you in the moment, you'll likely miss out on the long-term benefits of skill mastery. Beware of courage culture. Newport also addresses the problem of what he calls courage culture. This is the belief that the only thing standing between you and your dream job is the courage to quit your current job and follow your passion. While it sounds inspiring, Newport warns that this mindset can be dangerous. Why? Because it ignores the fact that to succeed in your dream job, you need career capital, those valuable skills that give you leverage. Many people buy into courage culture, leaving their jobs without a solid plan or the necessary skills, only to end up worse off than before. Without career capital, stepping off the expected path can lead to more frustration, not less. 3 disqualifiers for building career capital. So, how do you know if your current job is one that will allow you to build and invest career capital? Newport provides 3 disqualifiers that can indicate whether your job is a poor environment for applying the Craftsman mindset and building career capital. Few opportunities to distinguish yourself. If your job doesn't provide you with chances to develop and showcase rare and valuable skills, then you won't be able to build up career capital. This is the first red flag that your position isn't suited for growth. The work feels useless or bad for the world. If you're working on something you believe is unimportant or even harmful, it will be incredibly difficult to stay motivated and invest in developing skills. This disqualifier is about ethical alignment. If you don't believe in the value of your work, career capital growth will stall. You dislike the people you work with. If your job forces you to work closely with individuals you don't respect or get along with, the daily grind will become unbearable. This disqualifier speaks to the importance of workplace environment. Without a supportive and enjoyable team, it will be challenging to thrive and grow in your role. If any of these disqualifiers apply to your current situation, it may be time to rethink your career path. A job that doesn't provide opportunities for skill development or that leaves you feeling disconnected from your values or colleagues will hinder your ability to accumulate the career capital necessary for long-term success. Conclusion: build career capital, don't just dream. Ultimately, Newport's message is clear: stop chasing passion and start building skills. The work you love doesn't come from following some predetermined passion, but from cultivating mastery and offering rare and valuable skills to the world. By adopting the Craftsman Mindset, you'll accumulate career capital, which will eventually allow you to secure a job that offers creativity, control, and impact, the very things that make work great. In contrast, if you follow the passion mindset or courage culture, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Passion and dream jobs don't come before hard work, they come after it, as a result of dedicated effort and skill development. In the chapter The Career Capitalists of So Good They Can't Ignore You, Cal Newport provides real-life examples of how the craftsman mindset and career capital lead to fulfilling careers. He profiles two individuals, Alex Berger and Mike Jackson, who successfully built careers they love, not by following their passions, but by becoming so good they can't ignore you. These examples vividly demonstrate the practical power of career capital, showing how mastering rare and valuable skills allows you to shape the career you desire. Alex Berger, breaking into Hollywood. Alex Berger's journey into becoming a successful TV writer in Hollywood is a prime example of someone using the craftsman mindset. Rather than chasing passion, Berger focused on mastering his craft, dedicating countless hours to honing his writing skills. Through deliberate practice and relentless improvement, he built a body of work that made him indispensable in his field. His career wasn't driven by a pre-existing passion for writing, but by the skill and dedication he brought to his craft, which in turn led to him loving his job. This mastery is what allowed him to break into the highly competitive world of television. Mike Jackson, cleantech venture capitalist. Similarly, Mike Jackson built a successful career as a cleantech venture capitalist by focusing on becoming exceptional in his field. Instead of seeking a career based on a passion for environmental causes, Jackson concentrated on acquiring the skills and knowledge necessary to excel in venture capital. Over time, his competence grew into career capital, which he then leveraged to shape a fulfilling role in the cleantech industry. By becoming a master in his domain, he created a career that not only offered financial success but also personal satisfaction. These examples debunk the myth that passion must come first. Instead, both men focused on developing skills that were rare and valuable, which in turn gave them the leverage to shape their careers into something they loved. Passion was the result, not the starting point. Chapter 7: Becoming a Craftsman. In this chapter, Newport delves into deliberate practice, the key strategy for acquiring career capital. He introduces the concept by comparing himself to guitar virtuosos like Jordan Tice, illustrating how the difference between average performers and stars isn't just talent but the method of practice they employ. The 10,000-hour rule. Newport reintroduces the popularized 10,000-hour rule, initially discussed by Malcolm Gladwell in Outliers. This rule suggests that it takes a significant amount of practice, around 10,000 hours, to become an expert at a complex skill. However, Newport points out that just putting in the hours isn't enough. If you merely show up and work hard, you'll eventually hit a performance plateau, where no matter how much effort you put in, you'll stop improving. This is where deliberate practice comes into play. Deliberate practice, the key to mastery. Deliberate practice is not about just working hard, it's about working smart by consistently pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. It's the type of practice that feels uncomfortable because it forces you to tackle your weaknesses head-on. But it's also the kind of practice that produces the most significant improvements in performance. Newport explains that deliberate practice involves challenging yourself beyond your current abilities. You must continually push yourself to do things that are just out of reach, ensuring that you are always improving. Receiving ruthless feedback. To improve, you need objective and sometimes harsh feedback from others or from the results of your efforts. This feedback helps you pinpoint your weaknesses and allows you to refine your approach. While this kind of practice is difficult and uncomfortable, it is essential to acquiring career capital. Knowledge workers, Newport argues, often shy away from deliberate practice because it's uncomfortable. But avoiding this discomfort comes at a cost: stagnation. If you're not deliberately practicing, you're not growing, and without growth, you can't accumulate the career capital needed to create a compelling career. Breaking the plateau. The problem many workers face is that they reach a plateau in their performance and stop improving. This plateau occurs because they're no longer pushing themselves. Instead of challenging their weaknesses, they settle into a routine that feels safe but doesn't lead to growth. The only way to break this plateau is by embracing deliberate practice. Newport emphasizes that adopting the Craftsman mindset requires making deliberate practice a regular part of your work routine. This means consistently seeking out challenges, forcing yourself to improve, and embracing feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. Over time, this commitment to deliberate practice leads to the accumulation of career capital, which ultimately allows you to create a career that is both fulfilling and successful. Conclusion: mastery over passion. The key takeaway from these chapters is that mastery, not passion, is the key to creating work you love. By focusing on acquiring rare and valuable skills through deliberate practice, you build career capital. This career capital is what enables you to attain the traits that make work great, such as creativity, impact, and control. On the other hand, chasing passion without the necessary skills leads to frustration and disappointment. Newport urges readers to adopt the Craftsman mindset, focusing on what they can offer to the world rather than what they can get from it. In doing so, they'll build a foundation for a successful and fulfilling career. So, if you want to build a career you love, forget about passion and start focusing on mastering your craft. The more valuable you become, the more opportunities you'll have to create a job that you're genuinely passionate about.